Warning, watching this video may be highly educational. Hey everybody, welcome back. The last video was about the diffuser dome. Somebody left a really good comment or question in there and he says, well, if the little tiny light further back doesn't really soften at all, why do I like this thing so much? The ADS2 7-inch diffusion reflector. That's a good point. Part of the reason is it's flat, these are round. So today's video is about round bulbous things versus flat things. Here we go. All right, why do I like this so much and why do I hate these things? Let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with a really quick introduction to how light works. The light hits the back of the surface and then it just kind of diffuses out on the other side. Now, every single spot on this diffuser diffuses out in all different directions, but generally the main light beam goes out in the middle and it kind of is weaker as it angles out further from that. So what you have in essence is a whole bunch of light beams pointing out perpendicular to the surface. The 90-degree part of the ray is the strongest and the sides of the ray that diffuse out are weaker and weaker as the angle increases. So what I want to focus on and what I didn't explain very much in the last video is that these perpendicular rays are the part that we want to focus on. A flat surface has a lot of perpendicular 90-degree rays coming off of the flat surface. A round bulbous surface, on the other hand, when the light hits the inside of the round surface, it radiates out in all directions like this. Again, the center of each ray is the strongest part of the light and each diffusion angle off of that is weaker and weaker. There is really only one main ray that comes right off the very tip of the bulb, and that's the part that hits your face if you're shooting a human face. Now, all these rays going in all different directions is great for architectural lighting, for if you're doing interior design, if you're a real estate salesman and you want to make the house look, it's great for lighting up a room. But if you're using it to light up a face, it's not the greatest thing because really the only light ray coming off this round surface is off the very tip of the bulb here. All the other ones radiate out in all directions, missing the face. So you're really only getting one ray, and you're going to get shiny highlights on the face. So let's get right into the examples here. This is what the wall lights up with a bare reflector. This is just a normal bare reflector in the bulb hitting the wall. Here we have the round diffuser. It makes the whole wall light up very evenly, and that's great. Here we have a flat diffuser on the front. It's like the reflector, but it's softer and a little bit bigger, so it makes the softness go out further. Here we have a round softbox, and it lights up the wall softer, even bigger than that. Now here we have a Godox AKR22. This is basically a ball of light. It goes in all directions. This lights up the whole room. This creates really soft lighting everywhere. And this is what's called a lantern. This is a big giant light made to light up a whole room full of soft light. This is not designed to aim at something like a person or an object. Look what happens when you do. Look at the little tiny spot of light. This is exactly what I was talking about. You got one ray of light going right straight off the tip of this thing. These things are meant to be aimed up at the ceiling where they bounce off of all the surfaces and then that softens up the light in the room. All right, so let's see what it looks like on a person. I got her, by the way, from standingmodels.com. They just stand there, they don't do anything. They're a lot cheaper than the ones that talk. And so I thought I'd tell you this, if you want one, that's where you get them. And by the way, in that last video, this guy said, oh, I hope you get your voice back. Oh, wait a minute. You guys were arguing. I get it. That's why you lost your voice. She's not talking. No, we weren't arguing. We live in a desert. It's so hot. I lose my voice by the end of the day because I don't drink enough water and I don't get enough sleep. And she just doesn't talk sometimes.
We get along. Very well.
So let's get into the samples here. Mr. Dangly here. Turn out the house lights. Turn out the house lights. Just a hair light, nothing on her. Gonna turn this on.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's pretty bright. Okay, so here is just a bare reflector. This is just the bare open reflector. Now I'm going to put the diffuser dome over it. It cuts the light down a lot, so I have to adjust the camera. Notice the shiny spots on her face. Now I'm going to put some diffusion material in front of the light. Here's the dome. Here's the diffusion material. And this is with nothing. This is just the open reflector. Now let's put a lantern bouncing off the ceiling. All right, so now we have a lantern. This is a lot better because it's bouncing off the ceiling and soft light's coming from everywhere. Now let's try a softbox. Okay, so here we have a softbox. This might not look as good as the lantern because the lantern was reflecting light off the everywhere. This is just coming from basically this direction here. Usually what people do when they have a softbox is they put a reflector on this side to soften it up a bit. But I just want to show you the shadows and the highlights of each unit here. Okay, and here we have a lantern aimed at her. You're not supposed to aim a lantern at a person. You're supposed to aim it up at the ceiling and bounce off all the rooms, but it looks pretty good still. But you know what this is? This is an umbrella. It's an umbrella that's got a closed back, so it will work really well as a softening device, but that's really not what it's designed for. You might as well use an umbrella softbox or an umbrella to get the same effect. These things are big and awkward and clunky to use, but you will get soft light, and it will look softer than a softbox because, again, it's bouncing light off of everything. But this video isn't about big giant soft sources because obviously anything that's big is going to cause nice soft lighting, especially lanterns. Let's get back to the little ones because that is really what this video is about. All right, now we're going to take some flash pictures. We're going to use AD200s. I'm going to use the AKR22 dome for the first ones, and we're going to compare with what that looks like compared to my favorite ADS2 flat diffuser reflector. I'm going to turn the lights out so none of these lights in the room are going to affect our tests. Okay, that's with the round diffuser dome. Now let's use my little favorite flat diffuser. First thing you notice is it's a lot brighter. Notice how the highlights are not as prominent with this as it is with the bulb. So you would think that the diffusion dome would create softer lighting than the reflector with the flat surface on the front, but it's the other way around. If you want to make the diffuser actually create softer light, the way you do it is aim it up at the ceiling, not at the person. That's what this is for. I don't like this look. I mean, even though it's soft lighting, I don't like the look of when the lighting is bouncing off the ceiling as opposed to this, which is kind of aiming straight at her. This works basically only when you're indoors. People like to use this outdoors thinking they're getting soft light, but there's nothing to bounce off of outdoors. There's no walls or ceilings. Let's take this outside and compare these two. Okay, so here we are outside. I'm going to start with the dome diffuser. There's nothing for it to bounce off of. It's just going to radiate out to the sky, and it's going to be the softness. This is what people think. They're going to just use this, and they're going to get soft lighting when they're outside. So let's find out. Let's just aim this at her face. Not bad, but look at the highlights and look at the shadows. And now let's use the flat one. Whoa, that is bright. First thing you notice is it's like 5 times brighter than that. It's still too bright. Gotta turn it down some more. This thing is like 10 times brighter than that dome. Not bad, huh? Look at the difference between it. Here's the flat, here's the dome. Here's the flat, here's the dome. You have to use this thing at almost full power. This thing I'm using at 1/16 power. It's not a big difference, but you see the highlights more with the round one. The dome softens the light, but not the shadows. Diffusion doesn't really soften shadows, it softens light. Reflectors, on the other hand, soften shadows, but not the light. And most people think what they need to do is soften light, but what they actually want to do is soften shadows. That's why I don't mind using silver umbrellas. Here's some pictures taken with just an open silver umbrella. Look at the shadows. Look how soft they are. The only thing that people have an issue with is the hot spots on the face. And if it's a big giant source, it's not really that bad. So I don't mind using silver umbrellas. Here's a softbox. Here's a silver umbrella. Here's a softbox. Here's a silver umbrella. So again, diffusers soften the light, but not the shadows. Reflectors soften the shadows, but not the light. Most people think it's just a simple thing of just softening light, but you can see the difference on someone's face. Hot spots on the face have to do with the size of the light source. The bigger the light source is, the less of the hot spots you get on the face. If it's a diffuser, those light areas are going to be softer. If it's a reflector or a silver umbrella, there's a good chance you can get softer shadows. It depends on how you use it. How big the light source is has a big part to play with it. But this video is about what happens when you're on location. It's too windy, you can't use a big modifier, and you have to use little things like this. I will always use a flat surface diffuser like this instead of a dome like this. Here's some pictures I've taken over the years using my little flat 7-inch diffuser reflector. The shadows might not be soft, but the light looks pretty darn good. I like the look of this. I don't think this is too harsh of a look. I think this looks pretty darn good. I've taken so many pictures over the years with my AD200 and this little 7-inch reflector diffuser. It's so portable and dependable. Now, I am not saying this creates softbox type lighting. It doesn't. This has a punchier look. It's a different look, and I like it because it's portable, it's lightweight, it's great great when you're taking it out on location, when you're outside. The wind won't knock it over like a softbox. It's really easy to work with, and I like the look. I like the punchier look. When I'm doing portraits, I will always use a flat front diffuser and never a round one. The round one's good for when you're doing interiors and rooms and architectural stuff or real estate, or if you're shooting a whole group of people indoors or something like that. It's a quick and dirty way of doing it. But if you're doing 1 or 2 people, I always choose a flat front diffuser for sure. This thing eats up the entire power source of the light. This thing is barely using any power at all. I am going to give away this Aputure Lantern 90. This is a big, giant, clunky thing. I hate these round things. They're just awkward to use. And it comes in a nice big carry case like this. So the shipping will probably be ridiculous, but I just want to get rid of this thing. It's taking up space. I never use it. MarcusPicks.giveawayenter.com. I am not giving Standing Girl away. I like this model. She's very practical. Yes. So I guess that's it for now. And I will see you in the next video. We will see. Somebody will see you in the next video.